Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. Welcome back to Braintree Today. I'm Martha Konstandinidis and you're watching BCAM TV. Now we'll be getting into our latest stories from the week. India and Pakistan have agreed to a full and immediate ceasefire following U.S.-led diplomatic efforts aimed at ending the most serious military escalation between the nuclear-armed neighbors in decades. The truce, announced over the weekend, comes after weeks of cross-border missile and drone strikes triggered by a deadly April 22nd attack on Indian tourists in Kashmir, which New Delhi blames on Pakistan. Pakistan's Foreign Minister Ishaq Dar confirmed the deal, crediting Saudi Arabia and Turkey for helping broker the agreement, while India's Foreign Secretary Vikram Misri said both sides had ordered a halt to all military action by land, air, and sea, with top commanders scheduled to reconvene on May 12th. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio emphasized the importance of ongoing communication to prevent miscalculation and reiterated Washington's willingness to support further talks. Tensions in the Russia-Ukraine war escalated Monday after the Kremlin effectively rejected a proposed 30-day ceasefire, instead launching over 100 Shahed and decoy drones in overnight attacks, according to Ukraine's Air Force. Despite rebuffing the unconditional truce, Kremlin officials said they remain open to peace talks in Turkey later this week, though they have not confirmed who might attend. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has challenged Russian President Vladimir Putin to a face-to-face meeting in Istanbul on Thursday, a move supported by U.S. President Donald Trump, who urged Ukraine to accept Russia's offer for direct talks. European leaders continue to insist that any peace negotiations must begin only after a ceasefire, warning of additional sanctions if Russia does not comply by the end of the day. Meanwhile, the UK hosted a high-level meeting of European diplomats to coordinate a unified response, as the war, now in its third year, has cost tens of thousands of lives and displaced millions. Former U.S. Supreme Court Justice David Souter, a Massachusetts native and longtime New Hampshire resident, died peacefully at his home last Thursday at the age of 85. Appointed by President George H.W. Bush in 1990, Souter served on the High Court for nearly 2 decades. He co-authored the 1992 decision upholding Roe v. Wade and dissented in the landmark Bush v. Gore case that decided the 2000 presidential election. After retiring in 2009, he continued serving the judiciary by hearing cases on the First Circuit Court of Appeals. Born in Melrose, Massachusetts in 1939, Souter was a Harvard-educated Rhodes Scholar. A Vermont federal judge on Friday ordered the immediate release of Tufts University graduate student Rumeysa Ozturk from ICE custody, ruling her detention violated her First Amendment and due process rights. Ozturk, a Turkish national, had been held in a Louisiana detention center for 6 weeks after being detained in Somerville and having her student visa revoked by the Trump administration. She was accused of supporting Hamas based on an op-ed she co-authored criticizing Tufts' response to campus protests and calling for divestment from Israel. Her lawyers argued she had committed no crime and was being targeted for protected speech. At the hearing, Ozturk described health issues worsened by detention, including severe asthma, and received support from a medical expert and her doctoral advisor, who called her a model student. Judge William Sessions granted her bail with no travel restrictions, allowing her to return to Somerville and resume her studies as removal proceedings continue. A dangerous new TikTok trend known as the Chromebook Challenge is raising alarms in schools across the country after reports surfaced that students are sticking paper clips and other metal objects into USB ports of school-issued laptops to create sparks. This has led to fires and even hospitalizations. At least 2 schools in Connecticut were evacuated due to laptop fires caused by this viral stunt, which involves piercing the device's lithium batteries, a serious fire hazard. Brockton Public Schools issued a warning this week urging students to avoid the challenge and reminding families that the risk is not worth the social media attention. TikTok has since banned the term Chromebook challenge on its platform and issued a message about the dangers of harmful online trends. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more after the break.
Hi, I'm Tom Lyons, a retired captain from the Quincy Fire Department and the author of the book Fighting Fire, A Proactive Approach. Cooking is the leading cause of home fires. Unattended cooking is the leading cause of these fires and related deaths. Therefore, keep a close eye on your cooking. If you must leave the kitchen, bring a utensil with you as a reminder of your efforts. Set a timer for food taking longer to cook. Turn pot handles towards the back of the stove. Keep a lid nearby when cooking. If a small grease fire starts, slide the lid over the pan and shut off the burner. You can take an active role in your safety. Cooking safety starts with you.
Welcome back. The Norfolk County Recovery Fest is coming to Braintree on Saturday, June 14th, offering a free day of music, hope, and community connection. Held from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. at the Braintree Public Safety Complex on Washington Street, the event will feature live performances from local bands, family-friendly activities including a zip line, free food, and a competitive cornhole tournament hosted by Massachusetts Young People in Recovery. Organized to support those impacted by addiction and to celebrate recovery, the fest will also feature dozens of vendors from the recovery community offering resources and support. Food Truck Wednesdays are rolling into Braintree for the summer, kicking off on May 7th and running weekly through August 27th from 4:30 to 7:30 p.m. at the Highlands Blue Playground near South Street and Cats Academy. Hosted in partnership with the South Shore Food Truck Association, the event will feature a rotating lineup of local food trucks offering residents a chance to enjoy dinner picnic style on the lawn. Organizers encourage attendees to bring blankets and check the association's social media pages each week for updates on which trucks will be serving. Braintree will honor veterans this Memorial Day with a special ceremony scheduled for Sunday, May 25th at 11 a.m. at the Blue Hills Cemetery, located at 700 West Street. Complimentary coffee and donuts will also be available Saturday through Monday from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. in the tent adjacent to the Veterans section. Residents who can't attend in person can watch the ceremony broadcast later on BCAM TV's government channels Comcast Channel 8 and Verizon Channel 26. The town of Braintree kicked off its annual hydrant flushing program on May 5th, running Monday through Thursday from 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. through the end of August. Officials warned residents they may experience dirty water during the flushing process and asked for patience, advising people to avoid doing laundry during flushing hours and to check that water runs clear before using washing machines. If water appears dirty, residents should run cold water until it clears and then run an empty machine cycle empty washing machine cycle. Signs will be posted in affected areas, and the town reminds residents it's not responsible for any laundry damage caused during the maintenance work. For questions or concerns, residents can contact the Water and Sewer Office at 781-794-8097. The Braintree Senior Center is offering a full slate of weekly programs and special events for residents 60 years and older. Weekly offerings include Spa Day by Appointment, daily fitness classes, game day on Tuesdays, the Asian Outreach Group on Wednesdays, and movie day on Fridays. Special one-day events include a reverse mortgage education workshop on May 14th at 1:30 p.m., Learn to Play Pool on May 15th at 12:30 p.m., and on May 16th there will be an iPhone and iPad tech class at 1 p.m. All programs take place at the Braintree Senior Center, and you can call them to sign up at 781-848-1963. If you're receiving or will receive a pension from Braintree, the Braintree Retirement Board will conduct a public hearing on Thursday, May 22nd at 4:15 p.m. at 74 Pond Street on the second floor. The board will discuss a cost of living adjustment for all eligible recipients of a Braintree Retirement System pension. You can join in person or remotely via the Zoom meeting. Just visit braintreema.gov for more information. Thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll be right back with more stories in the area. Welcome! Joining me today in the BCAM TV studio is Elizabeth Strachan, the Children's Librarian at Thayer Public Library. I know the library has a lot going on, so I'll let you take it away.
Well, the library has some exciting programs coming up, and of course they are all free. Thursday, May 29th is an early release day for Braintree Public Schools. So kids aged 7 to 12 can do some hands-on robotics with CodeWhiz that day. CodeWhiz will provide the know-how and the robots. Space is limited to 20, so please register your child on the library's online event calendar at thayerpubliclibrary.org/events. The evening of Thursday, May 29th at 6 p.m. is a murder mystery party. It is set in an enchanted forest. The teen librarian, Courtney Trudeau, directs this group of Braintree teen actors. Will you be able to guess who the murderer is? Registration is required. Register with library staff at 781-848-0405, extension 4417, or on our online event calendar at thayerpubliclibrary.org/events. The night of the murder mystery party. Check-in begins at 6 p.m. and you'll receive a group assignment and a party packet. Doors will close at 6:30 to start the party, so don't be late. Dressing up is optional, so wear your best whimsical attire if you so desire. Light refreshments will be served. For adults who love to craft, come to the Craft Supply Swap. Join us Saturday, May 31st from 11 to 3:30 p.m. for our first craft supply swap. Start the spring fresh by bringing new or gently used arts and crafts materials to swap for new to you supplies. Each person may bring in up to 2 bags. Bring your extra fabrics, yarn, decorative paper, pattern, tools, paint, beads, and other arts and crafts materials. Donations are not required to participate. We recommend you bring a reusable tote to take home the items you choose. Many library resources are available to you at home 24/7. A very useful one for students is Peterson's Test Prep, which teens can use to do SAT prep for free. Peterson's has full-length practice exams to improve SAT scores, plus tutorials to build foundational knowledge. An info session for parents and teens will be offered at the library on Wednesday, June 4th at 7 p.m. with Courtney Trudeau, the teen librarian. In less than 1 hour, learn how Peterson's Test Prep can help students prepare not just for the SAT, but AP, ACT, GRE, and other exams too. All you need is a library card. On Saturday, June 14th, library staff will be at the opening day of Braintree's Farmers Market, right across the street from the library. The Farmers Market is open Saturdays 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. There's wonderful fresh produce and treats from a variety of vendors. Come see us at the community table. Spin the wheel to win a prize. Pick up information about this year's summer reading program for all ages and chat with our librarians. At 11 a.m., Come over for our outdoor story time for young children with me, Miss Elizabeth. Library summer hours start on Monday, June 16th and end on Labor Day. Thayer Public Library will be open 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Fridays. The library is closed on Saturdays during the summer. Call us at 781-848-0405 or visit thayerpubliclibrary.org. There's always something happening at Thayer Public Library.
Busy, busy, busy. Thank you so much for joining us again. That was Elizabeth Strachan from Thayer Public Library. Now back to Braintree Today. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now let's get right into more stories. South Shore residents are being urged to attend an upcoming flood risk and insurance open house, where they can speak directly with local, state, and FEMA experts to better understand their flood zone status and coverage options. The event will be held on Tuesday, May 13th from 4 to 7 p.m. in the general room in the basement of Quincy City Hall, located at 1305 Hancock Street. Whether you live or work in the area, officials say this is a valuable opportunity to get answers to any questions about flood risk and protection. No appointment is necessary, and the event is free and open to the public. House Speaker Ron Mariano is facing backlash over a $25 million earmark for a parking garage in Quincy, which critics say misuses funds from the voter-approved millionaire's tax, officially the Fair Share Amendment meant for public education and transportation. The earmark, added to a $1.3 billion supplemental spending bill funded by stronger than expected tax revenue, will support a 500-space garage serving a new medical office building managed by Beth Israel Deaconess and owned by billionaire Rob Hill's Fox Rock Properties. While Mariano defends the move as addressing a healthcare gap left by the 2014 closure of Quincy Medical Center, opponents argue the garage fails to align with the tax's original purpose. The garage is part of a broader redevelopment effort in Quincy Center, which has seen nearly $400 million in public investment over 15 years. After years of planning, rising costs, and construction delays, Quincy officially opened its long-awaited $28 million animal shelter on Saturday, May 10th. Located at 99 Quarry Street next to the city's dog park, the new 14,900 square foot facility houses the Quincy Animal Shelter, the police department's canine unit, and animal control services under one roof. It features adoption areas, an exercise yard, veterinary spaces, a spay-neuter clinic, and public rooms for training and demonstrations. Originally proposed in 2017 at $7.1 million, the project ballooned in cost due to pandemic-related price hikes and the discovery of asbestos in the site. In addition to caring for stray pets, the shelter will also offer animal enrichment programs and pet food donations for families in need. Boston Children's Hospital is hosting a blood drive Thursday, May 22nd at the Thomas Crane Public Library in Quincy. You can head to 40 Washington Street from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Just watch out for the specially outfitted bloodmobile on site. Organizers say all presenting donors will receive a free Boston Children's cooler bag, and appointments can be made by scanning the QR code on flyers, visiting bostonchildrens.org/halfpint, or calling 617-355-6677. Any questions can be directed to Dan at coughlinD40@yahoo.com. Weymouth will pay tribute to 5 Medal of Honor recipients this Memorial Day with an unveiling of a new bronze statue at a special ceremony on Monday, May 26th at 11 a.m. at the Ralph Talbot Amphitheater outside of Town Hall. Mayor Robert Hedlund and the Weymouth Veterans Council will lead the event, making Weymouth the only town in the country with 5 Medal of Honor honorees. The ceremony will feature remarks from Weymouth native and retired 2-star Major General Paul K. Hurley and will include student participants, local honor guards, and a wreath-laying ceremony for the 50th anniversary of the end of the Vietnam War and the ceremonial raising of military flags. Funded in part by donations and Weymouth 400, each 6-foot statue will be paired with a citation plaque. Following the tribute, the United States Coast Guard Band will perform a free concert at 1 p.m. Thanks for watching Braintree today. We'll be right back with more in sports and entertainment. Welcome back to Braintree Today. Now here's Chris Curran with the latest on Braintree High sports.
Braintree baseball moves to 8-5 this week after taking 2 losses to 2 teams that have pretty even records with Braintree. They lose 6-4 to Wellesley and 4-2 to Brookline. They go on this week to have 3 games: Monday at Walpole, Wednesday at Weymouth, and Saturday at home versus Hingham. The softball team does the opposite of the baseball team, winning both their games against Wellesley 5-1 and Brookline 11-1. Let's look at highlights from the Brookline game. Braintree was firing offensively throughout this game. They were able to score 3 runs in the first inning. Braintree's bats were going. They made it to their 3rd time through the batting order in the 3rd inning. They made it 9-1 at the end of the 3rd. They were able to put the game away in the 5th inning by getting a 10-run lead, leading to slaughter rule. They go on this week to play at Walpole on Monday, at Weymouth on Wednesday, and versus Bridgewater Raynham on Thursday. Braintree boys lacrosse takes 3 L's this week to move to 2-10 on the season. They lose 14-4 versus Brookline, 15-8 versus Wellesley, and 16-4 versus Canton. They go on this week to play Tuesday versus Walpole, Thursday versus Weymouth, and Friday versus North Quincy. While the girls lacrosse team goes 2-1 this week, moving to 9-6 on the season. They win 9-5 versus Brookline, lose 21-4 versus Wellesley, and win 7-6 versus Canton. They go on this week to play at home versus Walpole and away against Weymouth. While the boys volleyball team stays pretty hot, winning 2 out of 3 this week, and a 3-0 win against Boston Latin, a 3-0 loss against Needham, and a 3-0 win against Walpole. Let's look at some highlights from the Boston Latin game. Braintree was able to go up at least 3-1 at the start of every set. The first set, Braintree seemed to have a handle on what Boston Latin wanted to do, and they won out 25-22. Boston Latin Academy was able to keep it close throughout the second set. They even got to extra points, but Braintree was able to pull away 26-24. In the third set, it seemed as though that the last set took it out of Boston Latin. Braintree was able to blow away, winning 25-14.
This one in 3. Big swing, and it's an ace that wins it. It's Liu who wins it for Braintree 25-14. And
they go on this week to have 2 home games, Tuesday versus Weymouth and Thursday versus Wellesley. The rugby team loses their 4th straight, but this being their closest loss, 10-0 to Hanover. They go on to play Friday at home versus Agunquit. Now let's send it back to Martha in the studio.
Now, this week in entertainment, we have 3 recommendations for you to watch. First, Nona's follows Joe Scaravella, who after losing his beloved mother, risks everything to honor her by opening an Italian restaurant with actual grandmothers as the chefs. The film stars Vince Vaughn and Susan Sarandon. You can watch Nona's now on Netflix. Up next, Final Destination Bloodlines follows a college student who, after being plagued by a violent and recurring nightmare, heads home to track down the one person who might be able to break the cycle of death and save her family from the grisly demise that inevitably awaits them all. The film stars Tony Todd and Breck Basinger. You can watch Final Destination Bloodlines now in theaters. And finally, Hurry Up Tomorrow follows a musician plagued by insomnia who gets pulled into a nightmarish odyssey with a stranger who begins to unravel the very core of his existence. The film stars Jenna Ortega and The Weeknd. You can watch Hurry Up Tomorrow now in theaters. That'll do it for News Today. Remember, if you're a customer of Verizon, you can watch BCAM TV in high definition on channel 2128. You can also now see us in high definition on Comcast on channel 1073. I'm Martha Konstandinidis, and thank you for watching Braintree Today on BCAM TV. We'll see you next time.